does vestibule mean? Anybody know? It's an old term. You don't hear it because buildings are not made anymore with what used to be termed a vestibule. For example, going into a building, there would be this little entryway. It would be the door, and you would have this little area right there, and then you go through the second door into the building.
I think a church.
That's what I think of too.
We'll meet you in the vestibule.
And it's like a little entryway, okay? And so that is a vestibule. So that part of vestibular for the nerve, okay? Cochlea. Haven't gotten to it yet, but do you happen to know what the function of the cochlea is? What its job is? The cochlea is going to be for hearing. So what do you think the vestibule is going to be for, or part of it? Some of our equilibrium. So do you kind of notice the split now for the vestibulocochlear? All right. Note that we have lots of bone here, okay? What does that kind of tell you about these structures?
Very fragile?
They're fragile, and therefore they are well protected because they are in the bony structure. So this middle ear goes from this tympanic membrane to this round window. We're going to have it contain those 3 ossicles. Your book is going to get into information about the ligaments and the muscles that are found here. We just don't have that kind of time. Okay? So now, let's take a glance at the inner ear. The inner ear, the snail, the cochlea. We're going to say that the inner ear is in a bony labyrinth. See the bone around it? So we're going to say in a bony labyrinth. Everybody knows what a labyrinth is, right? Maze. Okay? Now, in the labyrinth, we're going to see a membranous labyrinth. So a maze of membranes. Okay, is everybody following me? In between the bony labyrinth, the membranous labyrinth, there's this cushion of fluid, and that one is called perilymph. The fluid in the membrane, endolymph. Does that make sense? One is to the outside, one is to the inside. So within the membrane is endo. Between the bone and the membrane is peri. Is everybody, Morgan?
So endolymph is fluid on the inside, and then peri is fluid on the outside.
Between the membrane and the bone.
Okay.
These labyrinths, the bony and the membranous, begin at the area of the vestibule. Right there at the border between the middle and the inner ear. We're going to find our organ of equilibrium as well as our organ of hearing. And the organ of hearing is the cochlea. So let's take a peek at the pictures. All right? Right here, cochlear nerve. The only thing that that nerve is going to branch to is the cochlear portion. Cochlear duct. See how they kind of made a cross cut through the cochlea, the snail? Okay? What does that structure look like? It looks like a triad to me. Do you see that? Okay? They're trying to represent to you green, blue. They're trying to show you a vestibular membrane. And then if this is a membrane on the inside, this right here would be going to the outside. Does that make sense? So over here, let's take that cross section and pull it over here where they've given us a big picture. All right? Now, if I said this was outside, we're going to have peri to the outside, right? To the inside, endo. Are you following me?
And that's a membrane. The green is a membrane.
Well, the green is, they're trying to show us the difference between this fluid and this fluid,
Okay.
okay? And remember, if it was to the outside, it's peri. If it's to the inside, it was endo. Now, in this endo limb that they're showing us, they are trying to show us a structure that would be coiled throughout this coiling. So if you think about having this triad, is everybody following my triad? So to the outer portions, all the way around, peri. Inside of it, all the way around, endo. Okay? Is everybody with me? So think about taking something that is coiled up, all right? Something that's coiled up, and then uncoil it. So think about that snail getting uncoiled and stretched out, all right? And that means to the top and the bottom of it, peri, peri, and running the entire length of it through the middle, endo. Is everybody following me?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in that entire middle portion, you're going to have a structure that looks like this, running the entire length of it. Okay? Is everybody with me? Now, this structure, okay, let's blow it up and let's move over here. So this would be running the entire length of that spiral, okay, down through the middle in the endolimb. Now, the structure of this, if we begin to look at here. I got some more hairs showing up. I've got something that's going to be termed outer hair cells. Got some supporting cells going around them. And then I'm going to have something termed an inner cell. These outer hair cells, this inner hair cell, what do you see them being connected to? Nerve fibers. And because this is in the cochlea, they are connected to the cochlear nerve. Does that make sense so far? what do you think the function of these hairs is? Sound. But now remember, it's representing here to us outer hair cells and inner hair cells. Keep that in mind. Okay? So is everybody with me? Okay? So now, if we look at this organ of hearing, the cochlea, okay? Because that's what you will see it. Okay, you'll see it as the organ of hearing. That cochlea, like I just showed before, the triad, okay? We're going to have those have fluid, the peri and the endo, okay? Remember how we had one on top, one on bottom, one in the middle? Okay? Those are the fluid-filled chambers. That spiral organ, okay, is that structure that we just looked at, running in that endolymph all the way through it.
It's the scale.
The spiral organ, okay? That's what, if we look, whoops, this little part right here, okay? They're letting us know that this area is termed the spiral organ, and that's running all the way down that endolymph in the middle, okay? You will see this, and I forgot my closed in parentheses, okay? You'll see it termed either the acoustic organ or the organ of Corti, okay? Just in case you see that, that's another name for it. Here's what it does. Because in that spiral organ, we had the hair cells, we had the little supporting cells around it. Hair cells were connected to the cochlear nerve. So therefore, their job, take the vibrations that are coming in, something that is mechanical, all right, and turn it into electrical. Remember one of the things I mentioned in the beginning, with the special senses, we are turning some type of energy into something else. So in taste and smell, we took something chemical and made it an electrical impulse. Now we're taking something mechanical and turning it into an electrical impulse. Does that make sense? Because they are connected to the nerve fiber. Outer hair cells, inner hair cell, each one of them was connected to that nerve fiber. Yes, no, maybe? Maybe? And the hairs, this time, okay, they're termed stereocilia. Because I said we listen in what? Stereo. Now don't get me wrong, it's not Dolby 5.1 or 7.1 or 9.1. We're down here, good old Dolby 2. All right, just 2. But hey, it's still stereo. So, if we begin to see what's going to happen with that cilia, those hair cells, okay? Remember, I said there are